multitaskers, resilient and strong, which explains their ability to pave a way for themselves and create their own niche. Inspiring women who have actively broken the boundaries of societal views and stereotypes are the likes of Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Hafsat Abiola, Funmilayo Ransom Kuti, Gambo Sawaba, amongst others. The basis for marginalization are the common trends and patterns observed in various social, economic and cultural contexts, including societal norms and stereotypes, religious and spiritual beliefs, cultural and traditional practices, amongst others. A number of institutions, organizations and NGOs have been established to help reduce such views on women. The city of Abuja pays homage to women by naming streets with names of greats like Margaret Ekpo, Funmilayo Ransom Kuti, and establishments and institutions such as Mariam Babangida National Center, Ladi Kwali Pottery Center, and the likes. The city also celebrates notable events that celebrate women, like the annual celebration of the International Women's Day. The narrative around women in society has shifted over time, from exclusion to inclusion, and from marginalization to empowerment. Evident efforts to promote gender equality reflect this progress. Acknowledging the vital role women play in shaping the future of the city, nation, and the world at large cannot and never be underestimated.
Welcome back, hope you enjoyed that. And now it wouldn't be a program celebrating women without having some incredible women interviewed. And first up on our lineup, let's find out how she does it, how she balances all that she has on her plate. I mean, I am in awe of this woman. So I have a special guest with me. Come along, let's find out who I'm talking about.
I first joined the game because of my brother. Me and my brother were best friends when we were younger, around the age of 6. And I was doing Irish dancing, which is what a lot of the girls do at that age in Ireland. But then he started doing football on the Saturday as well. But I wanted to follow him, and my dad allowed me to go with him. And when I got there were some girls from my school, some girls from other things that I had done, and they invited me to come and play, and from there it was just I fell in love with the sport. And obviously coming from a footballing family, my brother and my dad were very obsessed with it as well, so I was quickly introduced to the sport that way. I would say best and most memorable moment in my football career was winning our conference with my college in America. So getting the opportunity to go there in school in America because of football was an honor in the first place, and then being able to go into the final and win with my team was probably the best feeling I've ever had. Unfortunately, the transition was more forced upon me than it was a choice, but I've been navigating my way by essentially using the same skills that I learned as a football player, obviously working hard and being resilient, and bringing that into my content creation and trying to be as creative as possible. Content creation has taken off globally, so it's something that always having to be on top of it and understanding different trends. It's been really weird being known more as a content creator than a football player, because I spent most of my life doing that. But there's been a lot of uncomfortable moments, some easier moments where I don't have to be on a field running around, where content creation seems a little bit more glamorous, so I've been enjoying it so far. The fitness community on social media is quite complex. I think there are a lot of unhealthy fitness trends. There's a lot of pressure on women in general to look a certain way, to feel a certain way, and sometimes there's a lot of misinformation online. But I do think that it's something that once you've gotten your hand on it and you have the correct people around you, you can use social media as a tool to kind of tell people about your fitness journey, inspire others without a lot of the gimmicks, and tell an honest story, which is what I try to do on my page. My biggest challenge as a content creator, I would say, is accepting that I'm a content creator. So I have a lot of interest, and a lot of times social media is something that wants you to do one thing. The algorithm pushes familiarity and wants to see things over and over. I think my biggest challenge is sticking to one thing and being consistent. I have a lot of imposter syndrome, being content creator just for a short time. Sometimes you feel like you're not working hard enough. Sometimes you feel like you're not getting the opportunities that you might want. But it's something, once again, like I mentioned, resilience, continuing to figure out the ways to be better and being consistent and increasing the quality of my content. I stepped out of football because of the way I left football. So I left football because of an illness. So I think it was something that I really struggled with accepting for a long time, that I couldn't play football anymore. And I don't really think, when I started content creation, I didn't accept that I'd stop playing football. I thought I'd pause and I would go back. So content creation was just something I was doing on the side. But obviously it took off. And I think when I had the option to do coaching, because I did try to do coaching, it's not for me. And I think I was a striker as a football player. So I love the attention. I love being in front of the camera. I love just it being about me. I know that sounds really selfish, but that's a trait that I have. So being a coach was something that I found really difficult, and it wasn't the skills that I had at all. And I think being an outgoing person as well, social media was really something that came a lot more naturally to me than coaching. But I think my next thing that I'm trying to do is marry the two, is kind of trying to see how I can work in football media, content creation, and things like that. Yeah, I think one of my favorite quotes is that the crescendo of love is grief. And I feel the same thing about sport. At some stage it has to end, right? But we are not taught as people, as young women, as even men in sport, how to navigate leaving the sport. Even in parts of Europe, there is kind of mental health issues with people who end up leaving sport very abruptly. It was something that I had to figure out how to do by myself. It was a really tough journey, but I would say my community, my family, my circle, because these are people who care about me and they were able to speak life into me. And that's why social media for me was an avenue to be able to learn how to do that better, because it was something else that I was able to put that energy into. It was something else that I could pour into. It was something else that I could find my purpose in. I think growing up, been playing football since I was 7. Growing up as an athlete and being labeled an athlete, and even still feeling in myself till today that I am an athlete, it's a very, very hard transition. But I think one thing is allowing myself to grieve, allowing myself to be upset, allowing myself to admit that this is something that is really tough for me. And thankfully, the people around me allowed me to grieve in those moments. And I think by doing those things, I was able to build myself up and learn and just pivot and see, okay, what are the other skills I have and how can I apply them? And thankfully, I've had opportunities to do amazing things ever since. My give back to society is my organisation called the Blueprint Ireland. The communities in Ireland that I've seen, especially creative communities, are working in silos. We feel like as young people, there's not a lot of options for the entrepreneurs. I think there's a massive growth in people who are self-taught now, whereas the traditional industries of things want you to be a certain way. So I created this community in a way to bring creatives together, to nurture creatives and people even who don't label themselves as creatives, because we all use social media. We all have a creative side to us. Even if you are working in a corporate environment, what will set you apart is how to be creative. So I'm trying to find ways to incite creativity in people, mainly through digital media. But even here in Abuja, I've been able to meet with some people who are struggling. I think the hardest part of social media is starting and knowing where to start. So just having those communications with people and understanding that, you know, my vision for the Blueprint was in Ireland, but the issues that we're having there is actually global. And a lot of people, even in Nigeria, have changed their lives through social media. It's a relatively cheap way to reach masses. So my give back was to be able to nurture people and encourage people to use social media in a positive way, and hopefully to change their lives.
My friends, they were only laughing at me that I had no work other than to go and play a ball of kids. Apart from being a footballer, you know, we are mothers. So there is some challenges at home, because every work at home is waiting for you, and the field is also waiting for you.
When I see the soccer ball coming in, I try my level best that I defend. I have a favorite player, Lionel Messi. If I was younger and if I was a man, I was going to do what he's doing.
Je suis très fière de représenter mon pays. Je suis sûre et certaine, le Togo va l'emporter. Vatukulu va me va trake ngopfu loko ni tlanga bolo, ni vana me va trake ngopfu ni vatukulu va me va trake ngopfu loko ni tlanga bolo, va swi trakela.
I'm 16 years old now. When I'm in the ground, I feel like I'm 16 years old.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still Window on Abuja, and we're still celebrating women on the program today. And now we're going to have a second interview with another incredible woman. I hope that you will stay tuned. Let's find out who she is. Welcome back. Today on the program, we're still celebrating women. As you know, women are unique. They bring so much to the table. And of course, we're still out there fighting for our rights, but we've come a long way. And self-confidence is something that is important for every woman. Whatever you do, from whatever walk of life, wherever you find yourself, it is important to believe in yourself and to have that self-confidence. Well, today we're going to be talking about that and imposter syndrome, how it affects us as women. And I have a very special guest here with me. Her name is Rahina Idris, and she's into personal development leadership. Let's find out what she has to say. You're welcome to the program, Rahina.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's start by talking about the concept of self-confidence as a woman. What does it mean to be self-confident?
To be self-confident is to understand one's abilities, your skills, and how well to use it. Self-confidence is something that cuts across. Without it, it's really difficult to move as far as you want to move. Without self-confidence, so many things will suffer. Without self-confidence, you're not able to give your best. You're not able to be the best version of yourself, because something in you feels like it always feels like there's a missing puzzle. Something is lacking, and when that feeling is there, it affects everything across board. How you show up, how you interact with people, how you relate with people, how you act or do certain things. Definitely it's going to reflect on everything that you do.
What is personal development leadership all about?
Okay, so personal development, as the word, it's about developing yourself, improving yourself, growing yourself, understanding who you are, and developing yourself. And from the leadership perspective is being able to develop your leadership capacity, your skills, being a visionary person. And most importantly, I think for me, I went into this because I realized in our society, we focus more on going to work, running a business, but a lot of times we don't look inwards, we don't look internally to develop ourselves. And when you don't do that, trust me, the business or the work will suffer at some point. So that's it's creating that balance between understanding who you are and what you can give to the society at large.
Okay, the issue of imposter syndrome. As you know, we as women, we find ourselves in different places. We're board of directors, we're CEOs, we're in hospitals, we're housewives. Wherever you might find yourself, imposter syndrome is something that really affects us. So how do we overcome that self-doubt? How do we overcome those thoughts in our heads telling us that we are just not enough?
How do you overcome this? How do you deal with this imposter syndrome? First of all, I think one needs to be able to go back, which is what a lot of times we don't do, to be able to go back and see where you've left off. Most times, I'm not the same person I was last year. But the difficult part is for a lot of people to go back and see how much they've achieved in the last couple of months, in the last couple of years, where they are and where they've been. They have the skills, they have the abilities, they have everything that they need. They're doing the work, but somehow inside of them, they're feeling that idea of being a fraud, not being enough, not belonging to where, they are. So sometimes it's about going back and seeing that this is how much I've achieved. This is what I've been doing. It's you that is putting in the work. It's not anybody. So just that idea of going back actually helps you to validate yourself, to be able to see, because most times people seek for external validation. And when you seek for external validation, most times you'll fall. You'll struggle because you're looking for other people to give you a thumbs up. You're looking, at other people to tell you that, yes, you're doing okay. But why can't you do it yourself? You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be able to go back and see how much you've achieved, what you've been doing. And then it just reminds you that, hey, I'm the one doing the work. It's not anybody that is doing this work. Sometimes, that feeling of imposter syndrome can come from a place where maybe I was looking for a job and somebody opened the door for me, and you start to feel that, okay, yeah, maybe if I didn't have that opportunity or that connection, I might not have been where I am. But forgetting that, yes, maybe somebody helped open the door, but at the same time, you actually are the one doing the work. So it's actually being able, it's for you to be able to go back and see that, the growth, and then also to be able to celebrate small wins, understand that you've done the work and, you need to celebrate it. Then also action, with confidence, imposter syndrome, a lot of times people get stuck where they are. And if you don't take the next step, nothing will happen. So you have to put in the work, you have to take action, you have to keep pushing, despite the fact that, you feel what you feel and are going through what you're going through. The key is to keep moving forward. Abraham Maslow says that you either step forward into growth or you step backwards into safety. And that's what a lot of people do. They tend to choose safety over, put in the work. And when that happens, definitely something will give. And, one way or the other, it will begin to reflect in the work that you do.
And on a final note now, we've touched on self-confidence and how to overcome imposter syndrome. What is the final advice that you have for women out there that they will always take with them to push them to believe in themselves and know that whatever situation they find themselves in, they can get out of?
Believing in oneself, that's the whole concept of, being, self-confidence. It has to come, one has to have that strong conviction that they're capable of achieving, they're capable of doing. And if you continue to underestimate yourself or pull yourself back, that's exactly what your mind will support you to do. So it starts from a place of, it's natural. It's a natural feeling sometimes to want to do certain things and feel uncomfortable and feel that maybe I'm not, even self-doubt. It's a natural feeling. There's certain situations, certain challenges that you'll take on, and something your mind is telling you that, are you sure you can do this? It's for you to be self-aware and for you to be compassionate to yourself, because most times when you talk about compassion, people are more focused towards being compassionate to others than being compassionate to themselves. So one has to learn to be kind to themselves. Give yourself a pat on the back. Remind yourself that, life is not so much about perfection, but it's about progress. It's not so much about being perfect, but, what can you give at each and every point, or place that you find yourself. It's understanding that work or growth or progress is not so much about doing it all at once, but it's a gradual process, taking baby steps, one step at a time. And sometimes you feel like, not much has happened, but if you move forward and you take a look back, you realize that you've gone far. And that's one thing that, we usually don't do, taking that pause to allow growth to catch up with us, taking that pause to look back and see where we were yesterday and where we are today. So it's being able to celebrate yourself in those little ways. It's understanding that, it's not so much about taking 1,000 steps, but it's about starting with, a journey of 1,000 miles, they say, begins with one. So it's a combination of so many things. So you have to also surround yourself with positive people.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the program. We have learned so many things, so many nuggets that you've dropped here today, and I'm sure that women all over the country will be glad that you shared this with us, and of course, especially women here in the FCT. I'm sure you enjoyed that interview, and the program continues shortly. Please stay tuned.
Well, I've had such a wonderful day celebrating women today on the program. And as a woman, when you stand for yourself, you stand for other women as well. And that is from Maya Angelou. I hope that you take that in your stride and know that we have come a long way and we still have things that we're fighting for, but we will get there. We have to show the next generation that we are on the right path. So you walk so that they can run. And as women, we have to hold our hands with each other and know that women supporting women are what moves us forward. So whether you're a housewife, whether you're a CEO, a pilot, an engineer, a lawyer, whatever situation you find yourself in, or you're a media personality, whatever it is that you do, know that there are women that have carved the path for you, and it is your job to carve the path for others as well. So let's remember that we are good enough, that we are confident, and we are confident in our own skin as well. I am a woman, a proud woman. I am Mimuna Ummi Ibrahim, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching today's program. So until next time, I hope you join me for another interesting episode of Window on Abuja. Goodbye.